Turn our attention now to activities within the Nigeria Customs Service. The countdown is on to the official launch of its Authorized Economic Operator Program. The big question is, what exactly is this AEO? In simple terms, it's a program that recognizes businesses that comply with customs regulations and procedures. And these businesses are rewarded with benefits like faster clearance of goods, reduced paperwork, and improved security. While in its pilot phase, Customs says it saved importers, logistics operators, and small and medium enterprises 100 million naira in just 4 months. According to the Customs Controller General, the AEO program is a key component of the service's modernization efforts designed to align Nigeria with global standards in trade facilitation as well as supply chain security. For more on this development, let's bring in Deputy Controller General, Tariff and Trade Department, Caroline Niagwan. Also joining me is National Public Relations Officer, Nigeria Customs Service, Abdullahi Maiwada. Thank you for joining us on the program this evening.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so let's break it down for Nigerians to understand. Explain to us precisely how this authorized economic program works and what the benefits are for businesses.
The Authorized Economic Operator Program is actually a trade facilitation tool.
Okay.
It's also a voluntary compliance program, and what it does is that it allows importers that we have profiled and rigorously checked to be compliant and to be reliable. So these operators benefit from simplified customs processes, which help them to reduce costs. It is actually an initiative of the World Customs Organization, WCO, initiative under the Safe Framework of Standards, and it aims to enhance security for international trade supply chain as well as facilitate legitimate trade. The operator is given this status when he has been seen to be compliant, reliable, and we call them trusted traders, and there are several benefits.
So you just look away when they come in?
No, we just don't look away. We have actually worked with them. We have checked their operations over time. They have met compliance requirements of customs and tax, and we trust them. We have seen that they are not the usual non-compliant people. We have looked at their books. We know that they are financially solvent. We know that they have financial security and they have integrity, okay, based on all their clearance processes that they have done over the years. So we have worked with them, and we know that these people are to be trusted. And we have seen that they can also voluntarily disclose to us when they have infractions, and then they now pay the liability. So we just don't look away. We have worked with them, and we know that they are trusted.
It sounds like the clearance for them will happen faster than others.
Definitely, it will be expedited. It will reduce their costs, and it will help them to be globally recognized.
There are about 6 different categories, right, for this program. Walk us through how each category benefit businesses, Mr. Mewada.
Well, I think to buttress what my DCG have said, it's about reward for compliance, which means if you are a trusted trader, you are very compliant, there are some level of integrity with you, so you need to get a reward for doing that, and that will also a kind of persuasion for others to be compliant. Now, we have 2 categories of AEO in terms of the nature in which we have AEO in the area of simplification, and we have AEO security and safety. The essence is what? To guarantee the security of these cargoes, to make sure that there is sustainability in the supply chain, as well as simplify the procedure. So it is a trade facilitation tool. And what is trade facilitation? It is about simplification, it is about harmonization, it is about automation. It is, so one core element of facilitating trade is to simplify the process. If it takes someone who is not compliant 2 hours or 10 hours or 20 days to clear your goods, you that you are compliant, it will take you some hours to clear your goods. With that advantage, you have turnaround in your trade and it will be better for you.
So you did say that it is reward for compliance.
Yes.
I'm wondering what you need to do, for how long you need to do it to be considered compliant and to take advantage of this.
It's a rigorous process. First, the AUO, there are criteria sets for you to apply for that. And after application for AUO, there are processes you need to pass through. There are issues that we need to look at. You check, audit even your company. As the DCG said, you need to have that financial solvency. We audit you. We make sure you have filled all the requirements for us to give you certification for you to be an AUO beneficiary. And before we started this process, there is the piloting phase of the process. Now we have pilot 6 companies. We don't want to have many companies as possible. Let's have first 6 that are rigorous. And these companies can be, some of them are SMEs, some are logistic companies, some are clearance agents, some are importers and so on. So we have, some are manufacturers. So those categories, after that piloting, that is why we have seen that now they are due to be given certificate that yes, they will be AO beneficiaries. And there is also consequences for that. The acts that give us the enabling legal framework to perform this function has also stipulated if somebody also breach or go against some of these functions, there is a way you can also retract that. But also there's room, which the DC said, for voluntary compliance. You realize your books are not in good shape, and what do you need to do? You say, no, I made a mistake. I'm supposed to pay 1 million, but I paid 500,000. I am voluntarily coming on to customs to say, please take your balance of 500,000. That is what we call, voluntary compliance. So and some of them have done that. So some of these companies. You
are wooing people to comply in simple terms. Yes. While this aligns with provisions of the World Customs Organization and bodies like WTO, there are huge concerns about the steps being taken by the Nigeria Customs Service to make this work. And we'll be talking more about that right after this break. Let's take a short break and we'll return with more. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. I have the Nigerian Customs Service powerhouse right here, the Deputy Customs Controller General and the National PRO right with me in the studio. Thank you for staying the course on the program. So, DCG, what is Customs doing differently to ensure, what steps is it really taking to ensure the success of this program?
Okay, what the Customs is doing is to ensure that we do what we call capacity building, and also do what we call technical assistance, get trainings for the officers, and then train the stakeholders as well, and constant monitoring of the process. So we have a technical working group on ground to monitor the processes. When the pilot took place, they were with them all the way.
The pilot has been on for how long now?
For 4 months, from April 14th, no more than 4 months, April 14th last year, and it's just ending when we launch tomorrow. We're going to launch it tomorrow, and then we'll begin to implementation on the 17th. So throughout the piloting stage, we had officers monitoring the whole process. We've had experts from the WCO, and IMF, and the World Bank that were part of the whole process. We had validators that came to validate if actually these companies have met the requirements that they should meet. So we'll continue to do that, and we'll continue to do that, continue to build capacity, continue to train, continue to engage the beneficiaries all too. That's what Customs will continue to do to ensure that at the end of the day, the goals are achieved.
I know Customs is saying that it saved businesses about 100 million naira during the 4-month pilot phase. Definitely. But what else did you find out? At least it's the first time you're doing it. Something must have gone wrong.
Okay. When the implementation of the benefits of the EU started on the 2nd of September, we actually had positive feedback from the beneficiaries, or the pilotees, I would rather say, and this were reduced costs in their businesses up to 100 million naira as stated. Reduced costs in that they didn't have to go to inspections. So when their goods arrive and they make declarations, our risk engine selected what we call the green lane. So the green lane is just expedited release. Okay. You just pick your goods. So that helped to reduce costs. They didn't have to pay damages. And they also had streamlined processes. They also had faster movement of their goods in a secure manner. So that actually were the benefits that they acquired during this piloting. And that has helped us to see that we have actually refined the program, and it is actually complying, or as aspirations of our stakeholders are being met.
Briefly, Mr. Muweda, walk us through the legal framework and policies that supports the implementation of this program.
I think from the Nigeria Customs Service point of view, the Nigeria Customs Service Act 2023, initially we have Customs and Excise Management Act, which is no more in existence, and we don't have the legal framework earlier to implement AUs. But however, now Section 108 to 112, Part 12 of NCS Act gives us the power to regulate, set regulation for AU, revoke, and what guidelines do you require for even AU compliance, as well as AU safety and security. Then another legal backing which we are signatory to is the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement 2007. Section 7.7 of that WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement is also an enabling legal framework that gives us the ability and the powers also to implement authorized economic operators, which means we are not operating in isolation. This is what is done globally, and at the end, what do we intend to achieve? To achieve what is called mutual MRI, mutual recognition agreement, which means you present your own team, your own companies to other customs administration to say, we trust this and we believe you can also trust them. So there is connectivity, networking among customs administration. There's connectivity between customs to businesses. There's connectivity between customs to other government agencies. This afternoon, the Comptroller General of Customs visited the Nigerian Port Authority, the managing director, and one of the issues was to seek the cooperation of NPA towards the implementation of AU. We cannot do it alone. We need to collaborate with those three elements. Yes.
But how do you fund it, and what's the expected return on investment in this regard?
I think the issue of funding lies, we have also technical partners. We have support from the WCO. We have support from the World Bank Group. We have also support from IMF. So what we need is some support in terms of human resource capacity development of both officers that are part of those the implementation group, as well as even the stakeholders. What we did earlier is we had a kind of pre-launch stakeholders engagement. The essence is now, if your officers have that capacity, have the wherewithal, have the knowledge, I think that also is another win-win for all of us.
It sounds good on the paper, DCG, but how do you ensure sustainability, right? Because it's not just customs. There are quite a number of stakeholders who will be responsible for the success of this program.
Definitely. The World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement, provides for customs to actually collaborate with other stakeholders in areas of compliance issues and trade facilitation. So we have actually engaged the various stakeholders. We have other government agencies, as well as the Port Authority, shipping agencies and all that. We have engaged them, we have talked to them, we have sensitized them, and we have gotten their buy-in. So it's like everybody is in this. This would be a plus for Nigeria, because even when the WTO Secretary General was talking about it, she was very happy that Nigeria has reached this stage of implementing the AO program. So we have engaged them, and we're all in it together.
What about monitoring and evaluating it to ensure that it is actually operating effectively?
These people we're working with, they have been tested, and we trust them. We trust them because we have seen that they have always submitted accurate documentation. They have paid the accurate taxes, duties and taxes at the right time. They have used the correct classifications, correct values over time. So we know that they will not default. And even if they default, the certification will be revoked. And we have our team monitoring the whole process. They'll make declarations. And we have what we call the post-clearance audit unit that would actually look at their jobs even after they've been released. So that's another way of monitoring them. And the post-clearance audit unit has been rejigged. It's more robust. With many, they've gone through what we call a lot of technical assistance, a lot of trainings from the international bodies you mentioned, WCO, World Bank, IMF, to learn how to actually do the auditing of the companies.
That's right.
So those companies, they have proper record keeping, and they are ready to bring out their books at any time we want to audit. So we know that we'll actually monitor them and we'll get the results that we actually
We're running out of time now, Mr. Maiwada. What does this really mean for Nigerian businesses, especially when it comes to competing on the regional and global level?
Well, I think the issue I've mentioned earlier is if you are an AEO beneficiary in Nigeria and we reach a stage that we are going to present you to another custom administration, which means we have empowered your own
That's
trade.
like an endorsement.
Endorsement that, yes, you are a trusted trader in Nigeria. Then another benefit is you look at the issue of African Continental Free Trade Area. Those are, if we are able to implement AEO effectively, it's among the trade facilitation tools that will enable, you know, a kind of success in this kind of preferential trade agreements. So this is one of the benefits. Then another benefit that the regional body and global body to benefit from is we learn from each other. Before we start this process, we carried out so many benchmarking missions. What is the essence of benchmarking? To look at what does Ghana Revenue Authority does. What do we have in South Africa? The technical working group were in South Africa. We're in so many countries around the world to look at the best practices. Come back to Nigeria and let me use this word, to localize, which means localize, see what will fit into our own context as a nation. So I think we are learning from each other and we are networking, and one of the essence of customs is borders divide and customs connect.
What about small businesses? Are there opportunities for them here?
Yes, we have SMEs as part of the pilots.
Oh, really?
And I'm sure the DCG will mention one of the companies.
Yeah, we have 2 SMEs that were part, because the pilots were chosen across various sectors: importers, SMEs, freight forwarders, and logistics companies. So we have 2 SMEs that are part of the pilot program.
So it launches tomorrow?
Yes, launches tomorrow, starts on the 17th.
Okay, on the 17th. Okay. I'm hoping that you will come back, maybe after like 1 or 2 months, and then we can review what performance.
What we do, there's what we call third-party endorsement. We allow the beneficiaries to come and explain what they have benefit from. What do they test? What have they learned? What have they experienced out of this? The beneficiaries will really come and testify.
Abdullahi Maiwada is the National Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Customs Service, and Caroline Nigwa is Deputy Controller General. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
You guys look really good in your uniform.
It's a pleasure.
You look very good in your suit too.
Thank you. Is this how all custom officers look in their uniforms?
Yes, this is how all very smart.
I like that. That's our show today, everyone. Thanks for being a part of it. You can watch it all over again at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Ogutoye.